the Tiger build, one of the most notorious and famous builds in the game. They are also one of the strongest predator builds in the game currently. But how do they stack up? And are they really top tier? Well, let's find out. Today I will be going over 3 things to consider and answer the question, are Tigers OP? Let's have a look at the Tiger build stats. It starts off, we can obviously see that the power stat is the highest stat of the Tiger build. This not only comes from their bite attack, which has the 1050 damage if used properly, but also mostly comes from their forelimbs, which are extremely muscular and strong, and also have deadly claws at the end of them, which are used to hold prey and rip their flesh off. But yeah, anyway, the main strategy of the Tigers is to sneak up on their prey and jump on them, making it, holding on to the prey and then killing them. You other players, how to deal with Tigers is to always be aware. If the Tiger jumps on you, you have to try to fight back. That's the main thing. If you face them, they may get intimidated because they don't have very high intelligence since they're just cats. Like the lion, one intimidation from a brave player might just scare off the tiger, or you have to deal some damage, and tigers will not risk that since they need energy. So tiger players will just run off. Let's look at the location where the tiger players are found. The tiger players are found in the South Asian servers like India and Nepal. Here they thrive without humans, of course. Humans absolutely demolish them. But yeah, mostly they thrive. They're apex predators and they destroy other predators like sloth bears around. So yeah, now let's look at their matchups with other players to determine whether they are S tier or not. Next up, finally, we have the matchups. Let's start off with the matchups against the deers. The deer players are one of the most abundantly found players in this. The deer mains absolutely demolish every place, but they don't really rule or thrive there. They're kind of just there as food for other players as well. The tiger is no exception. They have a very advantageous matchup against these guys. The deer players, they can't do much against tigers since their antlers are, not like horns. They're not strong. They're actually pretty fragile. So tiger players can absolutely demolish them. So yeah, I would rate them as advantageous matchup for the tigers. Yes, the wild boar, another group of players that are found abundantly all over the world. But in the game, they are once again like deers. They're mostly fodder, and no exception once again for the tiger players. They can pose a little bit more of a threat than the deer players, but the tiger players still have it, and they will still have an advantageous matchup against them. Up, we have the matchup of the tigers against the bear players, which really only is the sloth bears. But the sloth bear players sometimes can get larger than the tigers, but they stand almost zero chance against the actual tigers. Tigers absolutely destroy them. They're more equipped. Sorry, sloth bear players, you stand zero chance. Tigers have an advantageous matchup against them. Let's move on. We have the tigers matchup against the water buffalo players, both domesticated and wild. Let me just say, the wild buffalo have so much of a better chance against tigers than the domesticated ones. The domesticated ones, I will say that the tiger has a more advantageous, no, just kidding. It has a disadvantageous matchup against them since they're owned by humans and humans kick their ass. Anyway, the wild buffalo actually fare much less better. It's equally advantageous since the wild buffalo can sometimes absolutely destroy the tigers. But most of the time, it is the tiger that destroys them. But still, they have the chance, so it's equally advantageous. Next up, we have the tigers matchup against the Gaur, or Indian bisons. These players don't mess around. They are the jacked versions of the buffalo. They don't mess around. They absolutely destroy tigers, and they are much larger and, as I said, jacked. But yeah, tigers still get their kills enough, they can still get the stealth and still kill the goaler. So I would have to state that they are equally advantageous once again. We have the tiger players match up against the elephant players, and kind of like the lion players over in the Africa server, they don't mess with the elephant players. The elephant players mess with them. Even the newly spawned elephant players get protected because the elephant players are smart enough to have the skill called parental instincts. So they'll kick the ass of any predator that tries to kill the new spawns. So yeah, it is a disadvantageous matchup. Next up, we have the Tigers players matchup against the human players, and it's abysmal. The human players absolutely destroy them. Whether it's the railway mounts or the car mounts or getting shot because human players don't feel safe so the others help out their teammates, or they're just killed as a trophy for the human players. It's not fun. It's absolutely destructive, and the tiger has a disadvantageous matchup. Finally, we have the Tigers matchup in the Siberian server. Since yes, there are two different types of tiger players, the Siberian tiger players and the Bengal tiger players. You see this tiger stat chart? It's average actually. Lower the mobility and power and increase the defense and HP, and you get the Siberian tigers since they have to live in snow, and lower the defense and HP and increase the mobility and power, you get Bengal tigers since they live in jungles. So yeah, that's only the difference. They have to face against deer, elk, and boar mostly, which are all advantageous. But humans kick their ass more. Human players absolutely destroy them in the Siberian server. They're nearly gone. They're gonna be banned soon if they keep kicking their ass. So yeah, that's their matchup. It's extremely disadvantageous against humans, but advantageous against deer, elk, and boar. So yeah. Anyway, the end conclusion is that tigers are not top tier, but high tier. They are A tier. They are pretty good, but they have an abysmal matchup against humans and sometimes elephants. So yeah, they're not the best at this. But tiger players, keep on dreaming. But not Siberian tiger players, because you might get banned. Anyway, this was a very experimental type of video. Thank you to Tearzu for inspiring me with this. But yeah, that's really it. And if you enjoyed this video, then like and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.